Hello everyone. In the previous videos, we have discussed about the concept of probability and the difference between the theoretical probability and the experimental probability. We also learned the different terms related to the probability like total possible outcomes, favorable outcomes, events, trials, experiments. Now today we are going to learn about the complementary events. Now, what are these complementary events? Suppose if I toss a coin. Now, getting head is an event. Then, not getting an head is the complement event of getting head. Now, remember, both the event and its complement event cannot occur together. If I say in a single throw of dice, getting 2 is an event, then not getting 2 will be the complement event of getting 2. So let E be an event and not E be an event which occur only when E does not occur. So let we have two events, E be an event and not E be an event which occur only when E does not occur. Then we can say E and not E are the complementary events. The event not E is called the complement event of E. So clearly we can observe PE plus P not E will be equals to 1. We denote not E by E bar. The probability of an event E and the probability and the sum of the probability of an event E and the probability of not getting E is always equals to 1. We'll try to understand this with an example. Let us consider an example. A bag contains 5 red balls, 8 green balls and 10 black balls. One ball is drawn at random from the bag. Find the probability that the ball drawn out is a red ball. Okay, now if we have to find out the probability of getting a red ball, we observe that the total number of possible outcomes here will be 5 plus 8 plus 10, that is 23. So the total number of possible outcomes are 23. Now the number of red balls is 5. This is the favorable outcomes because we have 5 red balls. So the probability of getting a red ball will be 5 by 23. Now in the second part, we have to find out the probability of not getting a red ball. That means we can get another ball except red. So out of 23 balls, the remaining, except the red balls, the remaining 18 balls, that is, we have 8 green balls and 10 black balls. So the total number of balls other than red will be 18. So the probability of not getting a red ball will be 18 by 23. Now observe here. These two events, the probability of getting a red ball, that means red ball is an event and not getting a red ball is the another event. So if you add these two probabilities, the probability of red and the probability of not red, that is 5 by 23 plus 18 by 23, you will get 23 by 23, that is 1. That means the probability of getting a red ball plus the probability of not getting a red ball will be equals to 1. Now, if we have to find out the probability of not getting a green ball. So, how many non-green balls are there? In the question it is given to us there are 8 green balls. So, the non-green balls will be 5 red balls and 10 black balls. So, the non-green balls will be 15. So, the probability of not green ball will be 23. Now, as there are 8 green balls, so the probability of green ball will be 8 by 23. The probability of green ball will be 8 by 23. So the sum of the probability of green ball and not green ball. There are 8 green balls. So the probability of getting a green ball will be 8 by 23. And the probability of not getting a green ball will be 15 by 23. So the sum of the probability of green ball and the probability of not getting a green ball will be again 23 by 23, that is 1. So here again we observe that the sum of the probability of an event and the probability of not E, that means not getting an event, will be equals to 1. I will take one more example. It is a die is thrown once. What is the probability that it shows an even number? Now we know that whenever we throw a die, the total number of possible outcomes will be 6. Now as the event here is getting an even number, our event is getting an even number, so that means the favorable outcomes will be 2, 4 and 6. So the total number of possible outcomes is 3. So the probability of getting an even number will be 3 by 6, that is 1 by 2. In the second part, we have to find out the probability of getting an odd number. So again, the remaining outcomes, that is other than 2, 4 and 6, the remaining outcomes, that is 1, 3 and 5 will shows an odd number. So the total favorable outcomes is 3 again. So the probability of getting an odd number will be 3 by 6, that is again 1 by 2. Now again we observe here that there are only two possible outcomes whenever you throw a dice. If you have two possible outcomes, either you will get an even number or you will get an odd number. The probability of getting an even number is also 1 by 2 and the probability of getting an odd number is also 1 by 2. And their sum is 1. So we can say the event E and the event odd are complementary events because these two events cannot occur together. Whenever you throw a die, either you will get an even number or you will get an odd number. So these two events, that is event, what is the first event? Getting an even number is the first event and getting an odd number is the another event. So getting an even number and getting an odd number are the complementary events. Now consider one more example. Question is, a die is thrown once. What is the probability that it shows more than 4? Now if we throw a die, again the total number of possible outcomes will be 6. Now if we want more than 4, now more than 4 is our favorable outcome. So the number of favorable outcomes, that is more than 4, will be 5 and 6. You will get more than 4 only when you will get 5 or 6, because 5 and 6 are more than 4. So the total number of favorable outcome will be 2. So the probability of more than 4 will be 2 by 6, that is 1 by 3. Now consider one more event, that is getting less than 4. Now if we want to get less than 4, then the number of favorable outcomes will be 1, 2 and 3. Now if it is less than 4, then remember you don't have to count 4. So there are 3 favorable outcomes when we get less than 4. So the probability of getting less than 4 will be 3 by 6, that is 1 by 2. Now if we add the probability of these two outcomes, that is getting more than 4 and less than 4, the sum of these two probabilities is 5 by 6, and this 5 by 6 is not equal to 1. That means the probability of getting less than 4 and the probability of not getting the probability of getting less than 4 and the probability of getting more than 4 is the sum of these two probabilities is not equal to 1. That means the event of getting less than 4 and the event of getting more than 4 are not complementary events because their sum is not equals to 1. And can you find out why it is not so? Why their sum is not 1? Because here we left with one event. Because getting 4 is also an event. If the question is like this, getting less than 4 and the another event is 4 or more than 4, then these two events can be complementary. But getting less than 4 and more than 4 are not complementary events. So that's all for today. So in the next video, we are going to do some more examples and the exercise questions.